Hello my beautiful beading friends. Welcome to Misty Moon Designs. My name's Louisa. Today we're going to be opening up Didi's Deluxe Bead Box, and then we're going to jump into a very quick and easy project. Now if you're not familiar with Didi's Deluxe Bead Box, I'll leave some information down below in the description section of this video, along with a coupon code and a link to the website in case you're interested. And don't forget that I always model my pieces at the end of my tutorials, so please stick around for that. Also, if you want to skip the unboxing and go straight to the project, I'll leave some timestamps down below as well. As you can see, this bracelet has a very sweet boho vibe, perfect for any occasion. You can make it for yourself, for your friends, or for your mother or daughter. But the best part about it is that it's totally beginner friendly. I'll walk you step by step through the knotting and show you how to add these little blossoms so they sit just right. By the end, you'll have a beautiful adjustable bracelet that you can wear or gift. So let's get started with the unboxing first, and then I'll show you how to make this bracelet. And here we have Didi's Deluxe Bead Box for the month of September 2025. A little bit about this box. They're based out of Canada, as you can see, and it goes for $39.99 in Canadian dollars. In US dollars, it's currently listed as $29.67. And I say currently because I think it fluctuates depending on the currency exchange rate. But anyway, it's not a subscription. It's a limited edition box. It comes out every month. It's available to purchase on the 12th of each month, and because it's a limited edition, it sells out very, very quickly. So it's on a first come, first served basis only. It usually comes filled with specialty beads and components, which you can't get anywhere else, but I think they do sell some beads individually on their website. But anyway, it has a lot of high quality, hard to find items, and I know some of them are exclusive to the box only. To stay current on when they release their boxes, I recommend you join their Facebook group page, which I'll list down below. And look how cute this sticker is. It says, "Warning, opening this box will cause extreme happiness." And it always does for me, that's for sure. So let's go ahead and open it up. Oh my goodness, look at the color of this tissue. It looks like the name of the box is Vivid Orchids, which is why they included this very bright tissue. And here's the list of contents. As you can see, they list everything. They list the length of the strands and the size of the beads and a description. And down here are all the addresses, the social media addresses, their Facebook group page, their online store, and a direct link to the Didi's Deluxe Bead Box. You know, every time I open up one of these boxes, I'm dumbfounded. Look at these colors. They do such a good job of curating the colors. They really do. How gorgeous are these? Let me get organized and we'll go through each item. Here we have the first 6 strands. There's a total of 11 strands in this month's box. And by the way, if you hear banging in the background, it's because my neighbor across the street is having all kinds of work done. They've had contractors there for about 8 months, if you can believe that. But anyway, I apologize for the noise if you hear it. Hopefully it won't come through. But look at these beautiful colors. They never cease to amaze me. I absolutely love Didi's Deluxe Bead Boxes. And I really appreciate how they curate the colors and the beads. It's not something I could do on my own, honestly. Like if I walk into a Michael's store, I would never think to combine this blue color with a magenta. And that's why it's so easy to design with these boxes. Not only are the colors gorgeous, but they also give you a nice variety of shapes and sizes and everything. Let's take a look at this one. This is one of my favorite strands. It's called the Inspired by Czech Designer strand. Each box always comes with one. So we have this beautiful leaf bead at the end, and then we have this faceted rondelle. And then we have a bead cap in a gold color. And then we have this magenta colored flower bead. It looks like it has a gold wash. And then we have another flower bead, kind of squared off a little bit, with some kind of wash as well. And then we have another one of these disc beads, a bead cap, another one of these flower beads, a metal corrugated bead, spacer bead, and then this heart shape in the center. And it looks like it has a kind of a magenta wash. And then on the left is a repeat of what's on the right. So if you wanted to make earrings, you could definitely do that with the strand. Really, really pretty. Oh my gosh, look at this. Look how gorgeous these beads are. I love this color. These are listed as faceted natural apatite rice gemstones, and they measure 6 by 4 millimeters, and this is a 7.5-inch strand. I think I see some shimmer in there, but I'm not sure. It could be just the faceting. How beautiful are these? Oh my gosh. They're so pretty. There's so much variation too. I'm seeing shades of blue, teal, and some beads are darker and some are lighter, and some have some interesting inclusions. And I think I am seeing a little bit of shimmer. Very, very pretty. Let's take a look at this one. This is the same kind of stone, but it's matte. It's natural matte apatite, and these measure 4 millimeters in size. Absolutely stunning, they really are. And this is a very long strand too. It's 15 inches long, so you get quite a few beads. Look how this one shimmers. It's almost like a cat's eye gemstone. Absolutely gorgeous. And here we have some more gemstones. These are jasper barrel beads. They're actually listed as brecciated sea sediment jasper, and the color is orchid. And these measure 10 by 8 millimeters. Another interesting shape to add to your design. I really appreciate that. I've worked with brecciated sea sediment jasper many times, but never in this color. It's really pretty. And here we have some crackle beads in the color magenta purple, and these measure 10 millimeters in size. And it's a 7-inch strand. I love the way the light reflects off the crackle effect. Very pretty. Let's take a look at these. How sparkly are these? They're electroplated crystal rectangles, and they're faceted, and they measure 15 by 10 millimeters, and the color is purple blue. Very, very sparkly indeed. Let me get some more strands. And here we have 5 more strands, and these are smaller beads, as you can see. I love the pop of yellow, I really do. Let's take a look at these. I always get a kick out of seeing one lonely bead like that. It's the only light blue one in the strand. I think it's funny. But you know what? Can you imagine making a bracelet with these blue ones and then having a single light blue one as an accent? That's just an idea. But anyway, these are listed as gold edge rectangle crystals, and the color is deep apatite blue, and they measure 6 by 4 millimeters, and it's a 13-inch strand. I've worked with these before. I really like them. I like that gold edge. And the faceting is very interesting as well. They almost look like table cut beads from a certain angle. Let's take a look at these. What an interesting shape these have. They're shaped like a little bow, and the color is Tuscany yellow with an AB finish, and these measure 7 by 5 millimeters, and it's a 9-inch strand. I'm almost tempted to do some kind of bead weaving because of that shape. Can you envision positioning a bead right there? I might have to try that. Really cool. And look at this color. Oh my gosh. What a gorgeous color this is. The color is listed as purple apatite with an AB finish, but I think the purple is actually the AB finish or the coating, because they're definitely apatite colored. And these measure 6 by 4 millimeters, and it's a 9-inch strand. Very, very sparkly. You can definitely see purple on the coating when I move my hands like this. Very, very nice. Let's take a look at these now. These also have a nice effect on the surface. The electroplating on these is silver, and the color of the crystal is deep magenta. And they're listed as rondelles, but they look pretty round to me. They measure 4 millimeters across. Very rich and vivid, that's for sure. I love it. And here we have some tiny beads. These are definitely very small, and these are the ones that I'm tempted to use on those in some kind of bead weaving design, especially since I'm seeing yellow ones here. They're listed as mini crystals, and the color is Meadow Mix, and they measure 2.5 millimeters. Aren't they cute? I think they're adorable. And this is a 15-inch strand. I'm seeing yellow, I'm seeing deep blue, beige, a kind of a sandy color, and I'm even seeing some green as well. Lots of variety. Let me get the rest of the items. And here we have some adorable bellflower beads with some kind of AB finish on the surface. It's only on one side of the bead though, it's not on the back. And we have 3 beautiful components. This one's obviously meant for a necklace, and we have 2 for earrings already mounted. Let's take a look at these. How adorable are these? They're absolutely darling. They measure 5 millimeters across, and you can do all kinds of things with these. You can definitely use them in bead weaving, or you can just put them on a ball head pin and attach them to a bracelet or something, which is what we're going to do today. But anyway, you get quite a few. There's a total of 40, so that's enough for a couple of projects anyway. I love the color too. The color is lilac. It's one of my favorite colors. And let's take a look at these. These definitely have some kind of a dried flower embedded in the resin. They're listed as hexagon-shaped dried flower components. This one here is actually listed as a connector because it has 2 holes, one there and one there. And these definitely just have the 1 hole. Now you could remove these earring posts and add more beads to the top of that component, or simply use just one of them for a dainty necklace of some sort. Let's take a look at the back. That's interesting. The flowers are only on the front. Same thing with this one, although you can see a little bit of the flowers, but most of the blooms are on the front. I love them. I think they're adorable. So now I'd like to arrange everything on my mat so you can see the whole collection. And by the way, what a coincidence that I chose these colors for this bead collection. When I chose these colors, I had no idea what was in the box. I definitely chose the correct colors. I guess I could have gone with the blue instead of that purple flower. But anyway, let me go ahead and arrange everything on my table. Now this rarely happens to me, but I totally miss these components, which I think are so interesting looking. They're called hexagon charms, and they're made out of stainless steel. You could definitely do something interesting with these. And of course they coordinate with these down here because of the shape. You can link them with jump rings or beaded components, or you could dangle something in the middle. How cool are these? They're super cool. And I like the finish too. Really, really nice. So here's the whole collection. An absolute feast for the eyes. We have natural gemstones, sparkly crystals, lots of different textures and colors and finishes. I think my favorite is that teal blue color of the apatite gemstones. But I also love the designer strand, of course. Like I said before, it's one of my favorite strands, and we have a lot of different sizes to work with. So my overall impression, like I've said many times, it's a beautifully curated collection of beads with some vibrant colors, but at the same time, I think it's very elegant looking, and you have endless design possibilities. I hope you've enjoyed this unboxing. For those of you who've never seen Didi's Deluxe Bead Box, at least you have some idea of what comes in these boxes. And if you have time, guys, if you could leave some comments down below, let me know what your favorite item is. I'd really appreciate that. So now that we've taken a glimpse at the collection, let's go ahead and jump into today's project. For today's project, we're going to use these resin bellflowers and some ball head pins. We're also going to be using some nylon cord. This one's 0.8 millimeters, and it's in a kind of a seafoam color. I was going to try to find something that was more of a deep apatite blue color, but unfortunately I don't have any. But I think this color is just fine. I think it's going to look really nice. We're also going to use this color. I'm going to use this for the closure. And both of these colors, this one and the one that I just showed you, are 0.8 millimeters in diameter. And then I'm probably going to use some seed beads to embellish the little tails, but I'll bring those out later on. So the first thing we're going to do is to mount these bellflowers on the ball head pins. And I'm going to use a total of 11 of these flowers. Now that's based on a 7-inch bracelet. If you want something a little bit larger, you may need to use 12 of these bellflowers. So let me show you. I'm going to slide one on like this, so the ball of the ball head pin is inside the flower. And now I'm going to bend my pin this way. And by the way, these pins are pretty thin. They're 26 gauge. And now I need to snip off the excess pin, leaving about, I would say, 3/8 of an inch. I'm going to grab it with these round nose pliers right at the tip like this, because I want my loop to be very small. We're actually going to do a coil today. And now I'm going to go ahead and form my coil carefully. And I'm going to keep coiling until I can't coil anymore. And that feels about right. It's really tiny, so it's hard to see. But let me see if I can show you. I'm not sure if you guys can see that. Let me do it this way. As you can see, it's a very tiny coil. So let me do the other 10 off camera and I'll be right back. Okay, as you can see, I've mounted all my bellflowers on ball head pins. And like I said, you want to make sure the coil is really tightly coiled on. You don't want it loose. In other words, you don't want the bellflower to be wobbling around once it's on the cord. Now, this is a jewelry tray, if you can believe that. I got it on Amazon, and I use this to create my macrame bracelets because I'm able to clip my cord onto it. It's also felt lined, which is perfect because then I can put my beads in there. And I cut myself a pretty long piece of cord. This one measures about 16 inches or so, and that's because my tray is pretty long. So let me go ahead and clip my cord on. I'm going to clip the top end first. And now I need to make this end a little pointy because I'm going to slide these beads onto it. I've got my finger protectors on. I'm a baby and I don't like to feel any amount of heat. Let me do that again. I need to clip up that little piece of fiber there. And I'm going to slide my beads on. And by the way, I know I said you may need 12 for a bigger bracelet. Same thing if you're making something smaller. You'll need maybe 10 instead of 11. So let me keep going. Okay, my beads are on, as you can see. And now I'm going to clip this end, the bottom end, to my tray using another one of these clips. And now I'm going to use a longer piece of cord. This one measures 70 inches. Let me go ahead and slide it underneath this cord. I'm going to find the center. Let me just move my tray down. And I'm going to hold on to it with my fingers like this. So I have one piece on the right and one piece on the left. I'm going to take the left piece, drape it over the center cord, take the right piece, go underneath, and pull it through the loop on the left. Let me pull both ends without losing that center. There we go. Pull it nice and tight. So that's my first half square knot. And I like to count half square knots instead of full square knots. It's just easier for me. So I'm going to do a total of 30 half square knots, which is 15 full square knots. So that's one. And now I'm going to take the right side, drape it over the center cord, take the left side, go underneath, and pull it through the loop. So that's 2 half square knots. Once again, I'm taking the left, draping it over the center, take the right, go over and then underneath all of the cords and pull it through the loop. So that's 3. Take the right side, drape it over the top, take the left side. I keep bumping my tray, unfortunately. Let me move these flowers out of the way. I'm going to go underneath, pull it through the loop. So that's 4 half square knots. Let me show you one more time. I'm going to take the left, drape it over the top, take the right, go underneath, pull it through. That's 5. Take the right, drape it on top, take the left, go underneath, and pull it through. That's 6. 6 half square knots or 3 full square knots, depending on how you like to count them. Now, one thing that might happen, you might get distracted and forget which side you need to do next. That's very easy to figure out. Let me see if I can zoom in and show you. If you'll notice this little bump here, this little loop that's going over, wherever you see that little loop or bump, that's where you need to start your next knot. So I'm going to take the left side, drape it on top, take the right, go underneath, and pull it through. Take the right, drape it on top, if you'll notice the little loop there. Take the left, go underneath, and pull it through. So I've completed 8 half square knots or 4 full square knots. And I need a total of 30 half square knots. So let me keep going. Okay, I've completed my 30 half square knots, which is 15 full square knots. And now I'm ready to integrate my little bell flowers. And I'm basically going to just continue my half square knots to secure them in place. So let me slide one up. I'm going to start my next knot on the left. So I'm going to take the left cord, drape it on top, take the right cord, go underneath, pull it through the loop. And by the way, I do want my bell flowers to face the bottom because it's easier. And that way I can control the tension a little bit more. You definitely want to pull really tight to secure that bell flower in place. And you also want to make sure these loops are on the side of the coils. And I know it's not very gratifying seeing the bell flowers upside down, but trust me, it's a lot easier to do it this way than to try to secure them while facing up. So that's 1/2 square knot. I'm going to do a total of 6 in between the flowers. So my next one will be on the right. That's 2. 3. 4. 5. And 6. And now I'm ready to slide the next bell flower up. And it's the same thing over and over, guys. So I'm taking the left, draping it on top, taking the right, going underneath, pulling it through the loop, and tighten it up. Make sure my loops, my cord is sitting on the side of those coils. And you may need to move them around a little bit before you tighten. But that's basically it. You slide a bell flower up and you do 3 full square knots or 6 half square knots. So I'm going to do that to all 11 bell flowers. And I don't want this video to be too long today, so let me go ahead and do these off camera, and then I'll come back and we'll finish off the bracelet. Okay, I've secured 10 flowers onto my cord, and I have 1 more to go. So I'm going to slide it up. And now I'm going to finish it off with 30 half square knots or 15 full square knots. So once again, I'm draping it over, taking the right, going underneath, pulling it through the loop, securing my flower in place. So that's 1/2 square knot. I have 29 more to go. Okay, I've completed my 30 half square knots. And by the way, guys, tension really matters. So if your square knots are really loose, you're going to get a different length. And sometimes it can be pretty drastic. So you need to make sure when you do your macrame that your knots are nice and tight and you have even tension throughout. So now let's take a look. And how adorable is this bracelet? It's so cute. I love it. So now we're going to burn off the ends. I'm only going to burn off 2 of these ends, this one and this one. So let me do this one first. I'm going to snip off the excess, leaving about, I would say, 3 millimeters. Something like that. And melt it. And now I'm going to do this one. So now all we need to do is create a closure and attach some decorative beads to the tails. And to do that, I will need to tape my bracelet down to my surface. Let me move my mat out of the way. I'm going to place my bracelet down on the surface like this. I'm going to use Scotch tape. Let me tape down my cord. And now I'm going to tape down this end. I'm going to put something underneath to lift up the cord, like this. Sorry about the noise. And I'm going to use this color. I'm going to cut myself a generous amount. I usually cut myself 12 inches for a closure that's half an inch long. I don't like to struggle with short pieces. So here it is. I'm going to slide it underneath. Find the center. Take the left side, drape it over the top. Take the right side, go underneath, and pull it through the loop. So that's 1/2 square knot. Take the right side, drape it on top. Take the left, go underneath, and pull it through. That's 2 1/2 square knots. I'm going to make a total of 10. So I'm taking the left side, draping it on top, take the right, go underneath, and pull it through. That's 3. Four. All right, I've completed 10 1/2 square knots. And now I need to trim off the purple cord. Let me pull these tails. Make sure it slides properly, and it does. I think it looks really cute, it really does. Of course, you could always use the same color. You don't have to use a contrasting color like this. I just think it looks more interesting. I've got some seed beads here. These are size 8/0, and they're in a gold color. Let me go ahead and slide 3 of them onto this piece. One. That's 2. And that's 3. Now you can make your tails as long as you want to, but I'm going to make mine about 1.5 inches long, approximately. So let me go ahead and do an overhand knot. Nothing complicated. Let me just double check. That looks about right. Let me just move it down a little bit. And if it's not exactly 1.5 inches, don't panic, okay? Let's double check again. That looks about right. So I'm going to tighten it. Trim off my end. Melt it off. Doesn't that look darling? It really does. It coordinates with the little ball head pins. So now let me do the same thing to this side. can I say, guys? I like to have an attractive workspace. It keeps me motivated. But look how darling this bracelet is. Oh my gosh. This would be perfect for a little girl. So yeah, instead of 11 flowers, for a little girl, you might want to use 9 flowers or even 8. But I know this bracelet measures 6.5 inches and the closure measures 1/2 inch. So that's 7 inches total. Let me put it on. Keep in mind that my wrists are kind of small, so it's a little bit loose. But look how adorable it is. I really like it. I hope you like it as well, and I hope you can make your own. It's a very quick and easy project. I do want to put it on again in a few moments so you can see what it looks like from a distance. I hope you enjoyed today's unboxing and mini tutorial. Don't forget that I'm going to make something else with the contents of the box, so please come back and check my channel for a future tutorial coming up real soon. Thank you so much for watching. I'm looking forward to seeing you again. Have a great day and I'll see you next time. Bye.